You ain't upset at they did the same thing to my people. So that you said that they put millions of my house. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why should the white man pay for what he did? One day you'll see just how it feels. Baby, hands I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. This obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The way that the devil was known, America was never our home. Only a place of activity, saves facility, hate, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me, maybe this like be training my energy. For 100 years they count, they're trying my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is around. It's ready to tangle my feet in the act to be ready to rap. Cracking the sky, nuclear missiles are making it official. I'm capturing every crack of the vibe. Put them all in their chains, where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cages, they go in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, it was all for the beast. 144, get the brutal show, we can all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, so kid, we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now. You see just how it feels, baby, hands up. Look, ain't no remorse in my blood cell. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the world. Watch your body cut the flies. I could eye while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be 10-5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Spread payback, come back around like a carousel. Still remember your honest words. Ringing in my head like bells. Set you in this body, you finna low. I fuck the cocktail. Triangle, choke, cut press to the gang. I got these barbell. Way back to the bitch in the dress. She a bomb change and still serve cold. I just hope they make an oxtail. Block fresh out the box. I swear got that no cock smell. Make myself a target in the world of man shooters. Devils design fast for our babies and playing school. And damn, our kings reign up. Be overzealous. They want my jealous, I want brand new pair of colors. You see just how it feels, baby, hands up. Fuck, why don't you want? Nigga, what time it is? ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start stepping. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. And watch how you step because brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my
crazy. That top real about really gets popular after a certain amount of time. There's so many people up there.
It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of
This thing is over here tripping.
my mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Wrong with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. But why?
Damn.
You take mine, that's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man let get old. We in them graves, shit got me feeling played. I opened the Bible when through them records found out we was born to a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complexion. Still fighting against accepted. We hear the truth and rejected, but love is getting corrected. And now my niggas correct me. The command is the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. And watch how you step because brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. And watch how you step because brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. And watch how you step because brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. And watch how you step because brotherhood is a weapon. Hey, hey.
All right, man. I'm just gonna go like this.
I just got your text, sir.
Yeah. I want you to read a certain part of it.
Kind.
You can go down to where it says narcissist's birthday. Towards the bottom of it. Let me see.
Carolyn Connor's birthday.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you when to read it. Okay. Boom. All right, let's go ahead, clap it up. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, Baruch Thumb to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemal and Thumb Bashem Yahshai to all the sisters. Right? I'm preaching Officer 5000, Kasar Pakah. This is the Thursday night scripture breakdown for ISUPK Northern California, ISUPK Sacramento. We're out here at 2213 McDonald Avenue in Richmond, California. Pull up, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're here from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Really, we'll be in the building until around 1 o'clock every Saturday for the Sabbath. All right. Before we get into the class and tonight's topic, let's go with any questions. Questions in the room. All right. No, you 12. All right. Any questions online? If there's any questions online, go ahead and type them in the chat. Shalom Yahweh Shemashah Barakatah to Triple Malcolm Yah online. Let's see. Give him a second, see if he types anything. All right, we're gonna go into tonight's topic. Tonight's topic is birthdays. Birthdays and why we do not celebrate birthdays in the UPK. Let me see.
What's like this, sir?
Go ahead.
Actually, I did have a question. I wrote in my notes. And for Jeremiah 3:23.
All right, go ahead and get it.
Okay, I'll read it now. It's a question.
Okay.
So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 23. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills and from the multitude of mountains.
Right.
Truly in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel.
Right.
So my question was, when it's talking about truly in vain for the salvation hoped for from the hills and from the multitudes of the mountains, is that talking about the Edomite?
In essence, yes, but not completely, not so. All right. Have you go ahead. Is any more on your question, like specifically? What is it?
Specifically, could that be related to in Revelations when it talks about how Christ is going to come back? Is that them in the mountains? Is it the similar situation of them being in the mountains?
Okay. Lie. Go ahead and read that again.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 23. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills.
Go to verse 20.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 20. Surely as a wife treacherously departed from her husband, so have ye dealt treacherously with me, O house of Israel, saith the Lord.
Right. Surely as a wife treacherously departed from her husband, so have ye dealt treacherously with me. Like a woman that is committing adultery. You know what I mean? Leaving her husband is a horrible thing. It's a very evil thing. For another man to deal with a woman that has a husband is a very evil and treacherous thing. Someone said it before, obviously it's not a literal sense, right? But I remember one of the captains was saying that you almost wish every brother could experience their rib cheating on them. Meaning, like I said, pay attention to the spirit of what is being said. So that they would know how the Lord feels when he's dealing with us. You see what I'm saying? Like that type of backstabbing or, what's the word called? Traitor, or what's another word? Betrayal. That's exactly what I'm looking for. That type of betrayal is how the Lord feels about the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
21. A voice was heard. A voice was heard upon high places, weeping and supplications of the children of Israel, for they have perverted their way.
For they have done what?
Perverted their way, and they have forgotten the Lord their God.
Right.
Return ye backsliding children, and I will heal your backsliding.
Right. So all the evil that we have done, turning our back on the Lord, the evil that has come from it, he's still calling us back and saying, come back and return to him. All right, keep going.
Behold, we come unto thee, for thou art the Lord our God. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills.
Right. So when you see hills and mountains in the Bible, it's a metaphor for the governments in the different nations because they're known as sitting up on high, sitting up in the high places, looking down on people. Even same way today, where do the rich people go and live? They go to the hills. You see what I'm saying? So it's always a place representing power or governments or leadership, the hills and the mountains. So read it again.
Mm-hmm. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills.
Right, it's vain. Like we want to be saved by these governments, by these leaders of these nations. Same way today, 2024, everybody's worrying about the election, who's going to be president, who's going to be senator, who's going to be governor. Our hope to get saved is from the very same people that are doing what?
Destroying us.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. The people that got you into the situation, you're asking them to get you out of the situation. And that's some good things that were being brought up in the debate with Tommy Sotomayor yesterday and Captain Zaria. It's like, even though the brothers in the world, he was saying a lot of things, like certain things he was saying, okay, when I actually was sitting down and listening to him, like, he's going about it in the wrong way. Obviously, he's in the world. But if he's true to the spirit of what he's saying, then he agrees with a lot of things we say. I'm like, a lot of things he was saying is the things that we say.
Right.
You know, that we shouldn't look to these people to fix our problems. We shouldn't integrate with them. We shouldn't play on the same team. So, you know, like I said, he probably just a coon and a sellout. It's one or two things. Either he really is a coon and a sellout, he's convinced himself he's really for black people, or he really is for black people and he is trolling to get attention by saying outrageous things so people will watch him and then he can get their attention and then he can say something that he feels is actually right and genuine. But either way, our people have this problem, like Captain Zaria was saying, of always going to the oppressor to fix the problems when they're the ones that actually started the problem.
Right.
Yeah. So that's vanity. It's useless. It's nothing in it. All right, keep going.
And from the multitude of mountains.
So not only are we going from one oppressor, we're going to the other oppressors. We're going to try to have a coalition with the Moabites when they say stop Asian hate. We're going to try to help Palestine free Palestine when they're going through their issue. We're going to go to all the different nations to ask them for help. We're going to try to become citizens of Ghana. We're going to go and try to do this over here, over there. We want to do all the different nations to help us to have some rainbow coalition when in reality, they're all going against us. You know what I'm saying? Where's the precept to prove that all the nations are going against us? If you can quote it, you don't have to pull it, but if you got it.
It says all nations are confederate against you.
Yeah, I'm right. Where's that at? You know?
It's like it's Isaiah.
Lie. It says Psalms. Psalms 83. We read that as a part of our prayers every Sabbath. Yeah. You don't got to pull it though. Okay. Yeah, just for for you to remember that. All right. Go ahead.
Mountains. Right. Truly in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel.
So it says that Joe Biden is the salvation of Israel.
Truly in the Lord is our God. It's like in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel.
Right. It doesn't say Donald Trump. It doesn't say Kamala Harris. It doesn't say in getting money. It doesn't say in voting and doing all this nonsense. It says our salvation truly comes from the Lord. That's where it comes from. All right. Another precept that goes for this one is Isaiah 30:1. Go to that one real quick. That's a good precept to go hand in hand with this. And then if that's it on your question, we'll go to the next thing. What?
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me.
Right. You're getting advice from other people how to fix the black community, but you don't want to follow the priests and prophets of the Lord. You don't want to follow the Bible. You don't want to follow the law, statutes, commandments. That's where you're getting your advice from. What?
And that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit.
What is the covering? What does that mean?
That's like it's is it their or not the beliefs, but the culture of another or
that's
of another?
Right. And all like the protection You're trying to get cover from these other people and these other nations instead of getting your protection from the Lord. Right, what?
But Slakia, that they may add to sin.
Good night. That's a classic UPK precept. And sin to sin. You're not only messing up by not obeying the Lord, you're messing up by going and following these other nations instead of following the Lord. Kind of like what we was talking about last week with Saul. Saul was adding sin to sin. He was already out of order for not following the Lord, lost his spot, but then he's going to go and do more evil to get out of the evil position the Lord put him in. You see what I mean? So we got sent to slavery, and that's why you're in the ghetto. To get out of the ghetto, you're going to sell drugs.
Right. To
get out of poverty, out of your punishment and your curses from disobeying the Lord.
Right.
You're going to further disobey the Lord. No, you're adding sin to sin. Go ahead.
Verse 2. That walk to go down into Egypt.
Damn.
And have not asked at my mouth
right.
to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh.
Right.
And to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
Right. So we left Egypt to get free from Egypt. Now you want to go back and go into Egypt again. It's the same thing today. They had a big, now it's a little bit different, but a few years ago it was really big Egyptology, what they call it, Kemet. You know, everybody was going, to be Kemetic. That was a very big thing. And now you kind of see it was a fad. But for like 5 to 10 years, everybody in the Black community wanted to go back and be a part of Egyptian culture when these are the people that were enslaving us. You know what I mean? And now today, you see how our relationships are with Africans, with Hamites. They don't welcome us in. They don't want us. They made a movie on Netflix that had Cleopatra, I believe, as a Black woman, and the people in Egypt got mad and protested and said they didn't want that movie to be shown in their country. You know what I'm saying? So all of those things show us we're trying to go and get the shadow, be under their protection, under their guise, the same way today, modern day Egypt will be America. You want to go and get your protection from the Democratic Party and have them fix the Black community when literally the people that they try to destroy over and over again, that's why it doesn't make sense. Right. It's a known fact that the government killed Martin Luther King. It's FBI documents, all of it's been released, that I think they gave their family money, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was a settlement. I can double check that while you keep reading, but I'm going to say, I believe they paid their family for killing Martin Luther King, and then they made a statue to him. But we're sitting here knowing the Black Panthers rose up to help Black people, and the government destroyed them. Right. So now you know these people are telling you they don't want to fix the community. Because when people try to go fix the community, they destroy them. Right. And not saying Martin Luther King obviously wasn't, who knows what the hell, we know he was wrong and lost, right? We know the Black Panthers were wrong and lost. But certain people that are trying to do things for our people, even if you believed in what they were doing was right, you can see that they tried to stop them from doing this mission. Right. So why would you turn around and ask the same people to help you fix your community? They're clearly showing you have to do it. Because once you start doing it, we're going to try to stop you. Right. So whatever we're doing is really not trying to help you, because we would try to stop ourselves from doing that. The house divided again, the same precept. But go ahead.
Verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion.
Right.
Verse 4.
Okay, let's see if we keep going. But that's pretty much it. But let's keep going. See what it says.
For his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be a help nor profit, but a shame, and also a reproach.
Yeah, so that's pretty much everything going hand in hand. We have a vain hope to these nations, to these mountains, looking for this. Let's see right here. Let's see what this. I don't know. This is from NBC News, CBS News. The widow of Reverend Martin Luther King says she feels vindicated by a jury finding in December 1999 that her husband was the victim of a conspiracy, not a lone assassin, and says it is the duty of the Justice Department to look further into the information in the Memphis case. I think that if people look at the evidence that we have, it is conclusive that the Justice Department has a responsibility to do the right thing. That's Coretta Scott King said that. The jury of 6 blacks and 6 whites deliberated for only 3 hours, returning the verdict in a civil lawsuit brought by the King family. I don't know if this case specifically, the person says it involved the mafia and the federal government. Cover-up following the assassination in 1968 involved the FBI, the CIA, and the media and Army intelligence. So, you know, this is not some conspiracy theory website. This is CBS News. It's a well-known fact. There's a lot of information out there, documents that were released that says, you know, the government helped kill MLK.
Right.
And so I don't know how any black person would say, let's go and ask the government to help us.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just ridiculous. That's what the Lord is saying. So the brother has a question. Let's go to Lamentations 4 and 7. Lamentations 4 and 7. Let's see what we got. Look at that. I'm running around. It's right after Proverbs.
Proverbs?
Yeah, Ecclesiastes. Let's see. I believe so.
Lamentations 4 and 7?
Yeah.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 8.
Let's see. Go to verse. Let's go to verse 5 real quick and we'll get it a little closer. Sorry.
It's the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
They that did feed delicately are desolate in the streets. They that were brought up in scarlet embrace dunghills.
Right. So it's talking about how we were up at a high level and now we're at a lower state. We were doing good, dressed in scarlet, nice clothing. Now we're at the bottom, embrace dunghills. We know what dung is, right? Feces. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Verse 6. For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughters of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom, that was overthrown as in a moment, and no hand stayed on her.
Right. So the Lord is going to have this punishment that comes against the children of Israel that's going to be stronger and greater against us because we are the Lord's chosen people and you punish your children more than you do your neighbor's child. You want to see them do right. So that's why it's such a hard punishment that came down on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right? Verse 7.
Verse 7. Her Nazarites were purer than snow.
Mm-hmm.
They were whiter than milk.
Right. What is a Nazarite? Do you know what a Nazarite is?
Sir. A Nazarite is a Judite from Nazareth.
La.
Oh, Slovakia.
Yes and no, but a Nazarite, this Nazarite is talking about is a Nazarite vow. It was a certain vow of the Nazarites that you could take as a time of basically separating yourself or purifying yourself. So Solomon was a Nazarite, not Solomon, who am I talking about? Samson was a Nazarite from birth. It was a vow that his parents took and they dedicated him, saying that he cannot cut his hair, he cannot drink wine, he cannot do anything. It's like, you just Israelite, we got regular laws. You're in the military, you're a regular Navy member, or you can become a Navy SEAL. You can be like, take it to the next level. So this is like a Nazarite vow, is like you're vowing to do even less than the average Israelite. You're putting more restrictions on what you're going to do. So these are the people that are supposed to have this special vow. This is how they're supposed to be. It's saying that. Or read it again, verse 7.
Her Nazarites were purer than snow.
Mm-hmm.
They were whiter than milk.
Right.
They were more ruddy in body than rubies.
Right.
Their polishing was of sapphire.
Right. So we already supposed to be a holy nation. These people are the holy of the holy nation. Like they're pure than snow. They're rubies. They're clean. They're righteous men. Right. Keep going.
Verse 8. Their visage is blacker than coal.
Damn.
They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones.
Mm-hmm.
It is withered. It is become like a stick.
Right. So now it's completely changed. You know what I mean? Who they're supposed to be, now they are not that. They're not living right. They're not acting like they're supposed to be. And now they were once pure than snow, now they're blacker than coal. You know what I mean? They're in a lower condition. Verse 9.
Verse 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field.
Right. So that's another heavy precept, just saying like somebody to say, I'd rather die by a gunshot than to sit here and starve to death for 3 months. You know what I mean? That's a better way to die, is just kill me with a sword. But to sit here in pain, like you just don't have any food to eat, it's a horrible death to experience. It's slow, it's torturous. I mean, to go with nothing, like you can go outside and might be able to find an ant hill or some, you know what I mean, some fruits or something like you might be able to find. It was like a soldier in the military. He said he was eating ants when he was stuck somewhere in the middle of Afghanistan or something. Like, I don't know if ants are technically lawful, but I know certain bugs are. Like you can eat grasshoppers. You know what I mean? That's what they said John the Baptist was eating. Like they didn't have grasshoppers to eat. They didn't have nothing. Like you just die of hunger. It's a horrible death to experience, and that's one of the curses coming from disobeying the Lord. But that's all that it's talking about. Hopefully that answers the brother's question. He just wanted first. Hey, but go ahead.
So just to be sure, it's not talking about it's not talking about the physical aspects of the Nazarite. It's talking about their spirit.
What do you mean?
As in,
the pure than snow. It doesn't mean they were white people. No, exactly. Yeah, it's descriptive language, and also, and in essence, I'm having to double check on this. Let me write this in my notes though. But in essence, reading it could mean Israelites in general because the Nazarites are Israelites, so it could mean that. But I don't want to be too clear on that. In general, though, it's just speaking about the condition of the Israelites when we fell off and the punishments that we got for the sin that we're doing. Read verse 9. Now, this one is a very important one. This actually happened too.
Verse 9. Mm-hmm. They that be slain with the sword are better.
But verse 10.
Verse 10. It's the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 10. The hands of the pitiful women have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughters of my people.
Good night. They said at some point in time, I believe in 70 AD, when we were under siege by the Romans, it was a point in time where some people were eating their children. They didn't have no food. They were eating the children. That's a low. You know, that happened on the Donner Party. You heard about that too, right? The Donner Party was some Edomites that came from the East Coast to the West Coast. I think they got caught up in Reno or Tahoe, Nevada, one of these cold, frozen mountains trying to get to the West Coast, and they end up, people was dying. They didn't have no food. They up there. They end up eating some of the people. So I don't know if they just was killing the babies and eating them, or the babies and died, and they're like, well, we're about to eat this dead baby. This is a horrible, it's an ugly time.
Within that, like that in and of itself is an abomination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're not supposed to eat pork, guys. I mean, god damn, that's definitely unlawful. But yeah, it was a bad time. But that's why we have to stay away from these things, man. Everything matters, and that's why we're supposed to have these stories. That's why they say like every other nation. Remember, I was talking about how important the Bible is. and how unique it is. There's no other book like it. Like all the other nations, they just tell you the good things about themselves. They tell you the glorious things. They even put extra on it to make them seem great.
Right.
They don't tell you the bad times or the bad stories. This book is a whole book of damn near us getting checked for being evil and showing how bad we were.
Right.
It's not a book of just straight glorious acts and wondrous things. When you really get into it, the majority of it is us effing up and getting checked for it. Go ahead.
So like
That's very unique.
So the argument against that, because I've noticed that people that fight against the Bible in general, they'll always bring up the evil things in the Bible as a reason to hate it. Is the argument against that just to say it's the truth and they're just not hiding the truth, or how would you fight that?
So yeah, that like what? Give me one more example of what you're saying. Like they say the evil things like having slaves. I always hear people talk about that.
That's one. Another one is it's like one I've heard personally. They were talking about Lot and his daughters.
Okay,
that's another one.
Right.
Another one was Salakia. I've even heard Moses when he killed the Egyptian as well.
So, and then just on the same question. So basically you're saying they'll point out these evil things that happen in the Bible that we recorded. Okay, show me where it was promoted. Where was it promoted to sleep with your daughter at in the Bible? They told you the story. Did they say you should do it?
Right.
Wow. You see what I mean? The Bible says that it's wrong to do that.
Right.
Did the Bible say it was right for Moses to kill that man?
Wow.
It says it was wrong for him to do that. You see what I'm saying? So every instance we have laws to showing you these things are wrong, whatever they're bringing up. Right. Just because we recorded it and told you what happened shows even more so that we didn't try to sweep these things under the rug. We actually were showing you the evil that our people have done and the correction that comes with it. You understand? Yeah. So that's how I would cut them on that. All right. Let's see. Is there no other questions? And let's go ahead and get into. We'll go to the topic tonight. Birthdays. Got a few things. Gonna read real quick. Let me play this real quick. Though. Let's see. This young. I haven't watched this video, but I think I saw it before. I'm gonna play it real quick. See what happens.
Filming this video, just bought her daughter for her 16th birthday a brand new Tesla, and you won't believe her daughter's reaction.
You said you wanted to let your car. Tesla. I said a Mercedes Benz. I don't like. Well, you gotta like this is better than Mercedes Benz. I don't want no car that if I gotta charge it for it to work. I didn't want that. Girl, you need to be grateful that you got a damn car.
On top of giving her the brand new Tesla.
Let me see. That's that part. Let me see if another.
Surprise! This is your car, girl. I didn't want a Tesla. I don't like electric cars. Wait, what? I don't like Tesla. You said you like electric cars. I said I like Tesla. I said a Mercedes Benz. I don't like Tesla. I could have just been walking. I was at the walking. Right. You need to be happy.
So, yeah. And that's perfect. You know what I mean? Example of what birthdays represent in essence in the spirit behind a birthday. That's it right there. Look up the quote. Put Book of Satan. I think that's what it's called. Put Satanic Bible. Put birthdays. See what comes up real quick. So, that's what the brother wrote right here too. Birthdays are in the Satanic Bible written by Anton LaVey. Most High Christ, that's one spirit. I didn't even see the brother posted that. That's exactly what I was going to. But exactly, have y'all heard about that before? When they talk about it, you have heard about it. Did you get the quote? Go ahead and read it.
Quote, Satanic Bible on birthdays. The highest of all holidays.
The what?
The highest of all holidays.
All holidays. The Satanists celebrate holidays too. If y'all didn't know, they try to do regular things. Weird, evil people wear gothic stuff, but then on the flip side, they just try to do regular family stuff. They just do it in an evil way. Like they're like the Addams Family. You know what I mean? It's like, why are y'all so against everything, but then y'all do normal things? Like the Addams Family, they're gonna celebrate Valentine's Day, but they're gonna give you a black heart. You know what I'm saying? Instead of giving you a nice teddy bear, they're gonna kill a real animal and give it. You know what I mean? It's like that's how Satanists are. But Satanists celebrate holidays. So the highest holiday, keep going, or holy day. We know that's where the word holiday comes from, right? It's a holy day. It's supposed to be important and spiritual and special for you, right? Go ahead.
The highest of all holidays in the satanic religion is the date of one's own birthday.
Yeah, that's the most important day to Satanists. Why?
So the Satanist celebrates his own birthday as the most important holiday of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Usually we'll say a quote. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, it doesn't say it on there. Let me see if I can find it. Why we really celebrate birthdays, picking the quote. Okay, here we go. Let me see if it says it on here. It explains it. Why? Long story short, if not, I'll just paraphrase it. If this is not it. But yeah, they made a satanic Bible, and that's what they put in there. I'll go ahead.
It says the keeping of keeping birthday records was important in ancient times, principally because a birthday was essential for casting a horoscope.
Okay, that's not it. One more time, if I can put it. One more time. It's a selfish day, all right. But I want this one part of it to come out. Let me see. My thing's moving slow. See that birthday. Okay. All right, I see a few things in here, but I'll give it to you what it says. Oh, here it goes. Here it goes right here. Let me see. I think it says the highest of all holy days or holidays in the satanic religion is the date of one's own birth. This is in direct contradiction to the holy of holy days of other religions, which deify a particular God who has been created in an anthropomorphic form of their own image. So they're saying most religions, they celebrate God. That's who they celebrate. Now you're going to celebrate your own birthday. The Satanist feels, why not really be honest? And if you're going to create a God in your image, why not create that God as yourself? Every man is a God if he chooses to recognize himself as one. So Satanist celebrates his own birthday as the most important holiday of the year. After all, aren't you happier about the fact that you were born, that you are about the birth of someone you have never met? Or matter aside from religious holidays, why pay tribute to the birthday of a president? Blah, 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 blah. It says you should give yourself a pat on the back, buy yourself whatever you want, treat yourself like the king or God that you are, and generally celebrate your birthday with as much pomp and ceremony as possible. So that's the spirit behind birthdays, is you are worshiping this person. Give me Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1. All right. And you may, like, when we say it, it sounds crazy because it's so normal. Like, you're going to come across, people and families in the world. It's just a birthday. It's just cake. We're just having fun. We're just going to sit down and do it. It's nothing that serious. Like, why are you putting so much extra on it? They don't see one simple thing has an effect on a lot of other things. And the way you do one thing is how you do everything. And there's a spirit behind what's going on here. It's deeper than what you're seeing on face value level. Go ahead.
And God spake all talking. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying,
right.
I am the Lord thy God, which hath brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Right.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt what?
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
So that's what separated the children of Israel from all the other nations. All the other nations had a lot of gods. And Israel had one God. We don't have multiple gods that we go and worship. So how are you going to put yourself in the worship like you're a God? That's what all these religions talk about. They say the black woman's God. They say you're a God. They say you are the most high. All these different things. They want to pump your head up. Because if you can be your own God, then you don't have to listen to anyone else.
Right.
You don't have to obey anyone else on planet Earth. If you think smoking weed is good, then your God says smoking weed is good. If you think selling dope is fine, selling dope is fine. If you think pimping, being a hoe, whatever you want to do, you can do it because you're a God.
Right.
So the more and more you celebrate birthdays, the more and more you tell people, do whatever you want to do. Do you be who you want to be, because you are very important and you should be for worship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Kind of.
Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Mhm.
Looks like it. Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness
Right,
of
right.
anything.
Okay, that's good on that one.
Come on.
Drop that, go to Jeremiah 17 and 9.
Come on.
Let me see if I can find this.
Come on.
What?
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
The heart is deceitful above all things
Right.
and desperately wicked. Who can know it?
Mm-hmm. Right. Like your heart is your mind. These people always say, God knows my heart. God knows how I feel, how I really am. So that allows them to not obey the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
You don't have to follow any rules of God because God knows your heart. I'm going to do whatever God said not to do. I'm going to live life like a heathen, but God knows my heart. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But God does know your heart, and he says it's desperately wicked. Your mind is desperately wicked and evil. You do what you want to do, and you end up destroying yourself. All right, I'm going to play this from this right here. Let's go to...
You do nude content, that's what it sounds like, correct?
Yes.
You're saying that God put you in the position to do nude content, so with other women and with other men. Is that correct?
Yes.
If God wants you to be a porn star, what do you think Satan wants?
Because he's interviewing this person. She does OnlyFans. She's an agent. She does OnlyFans and does porn, I guess. And he asked her, like, you have a cross on your neck. Do you think God wants you to do this? And she was like, yes. And then I think she's going to answer it right here. This is the part I saw.
God has put you in this position to do OnlyFans, to do porn. He wants you to be doing that. What do you think Satan wants?
He wants me to stop doing what I do.
Satan wants you to not do porn, and God wants you to do porn. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Exactly. This is what happens when you celebrate birthdays. So like it seems crazy, but that's literally what happens. She's her own God. She makes up her own rules. God knows her heart. Read that verse again.
Verse 9.
And she explained it in another one. If I can find the other one, she explained her mindset a little bit more. But go ahead.
The heart is deceitful above all things
Mm-hmm.
and desperately wicked. Who can know it?
Right. The Lord knows it. Let me see if this part is a beginning when he asked her a question.
You notice
I
that
wear a cross.
you're wearing a cross.
Yes.
Do you consider yourself a Christian?
I believe in God.
Let me ask you a question. Do you wear your cross while you're engaging in producing porn or OnlyFans content?
I always wear my cross.
You always wear your cross.
I never
Okay, so
take it off.
do you think that God approves of you doing porn, basically?
Yeah, it's not hurting anybody. I do it very safely.
Do you think God wants you making porn?
God said that He loves everyone.
You see what I mean? Hold on, I'm gonna keep
Okay, I have a question. If God wants you to be a porn star, what do you think Satan wants?
To stop doing what I do?
There you go. So that's the logic. This is what the people running around And it's literally how it goes. As a matter of fact, we heard something very similar to this last week, right? What did Creflo Dollar say? God wants you to stop following the laws of God, and Satan wants you to follow the laws of God. This is Christianity 101, and this is why the world is the way it is. The Christian church has over 1 billion people in it. If they were to collect $1 from everyone, they could have $1 billion every day and literally change the world, fix the ghettos, poverty, everything under the sun. But they don't do it because they follow Satan.
Right.
And they promote all these type of things. So yeah, that's crazy that she said it, but she is actually right. I will say that she being a heathen, her God does want her to do porn because her God is one, herself, and her God is Satan. And Satan, who is really an enemy against her, which is really the Most High, doesn't want her to do that.
Right.
And so in her mind, the real evil person is Satan, which is why when we go to camp, they look at us like we're evil for doing the work that we do.
Right.
You know, that's what they did to Christ. They say he had a demon on him for casting out demons. Because I'm paraphrasing this wrong, but Christ said the world was darkness and it did not know the light. So when the light came into the world, they looked at it like it was darkness. That was a horrible paraphrase, but that's that. Let's keep going to Deuteronomy 18 and 9. So like I'm trying to run through these precepts. Where are we at? 8:12. Someone give me a time check around 8:40. Somebody just checks every Deuteronomy 18 and 12.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord.
Right.
And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee.
Right. Just like we were reading earlier, this is what happens to our people. We do these abominations, these things happen to us. And so, like, how many evil things happen on birthdays? We just think about that in our culture. Like, how many people have one-night stands on their birthdays? How many people go out and get alcohol poisoning on their birthdays? How many people OD on drugs on their birthdays? How many car accidents happen on somebody's birthdays? In the hood, both birthday parties was known for getting shot up.
Right.
Like, you go to the function and you know it's gonna be a fight and a shooting at the end, you still go. You know what I mean? Like, this is happening all the time. And I remember General Muhammad said something so damn heavy in one class. Like, y'all remember when Travis Scott had that concert like a year or two ago and everybody died and all these conspiracy theories came out and they're like, oh, look at the background. It was the Illuminati. It was a sacrifice. Did y'all hear about that? They saying that? And he was like, nigga, whether that, who even cares if we can prove that or not? Who knows what it was? We know it was an accident that happened. People died, right? But what we can prove that every year on Christmas, people die. You know what I mean? Every year on Halloween, people go celebrate Halloween, people get killed. Every year on people's birthdays, people get killed. But no one wants to call that a satanic sacrifice.
Right.
They convincing you to go out and promote everybody now. Like, if niggas stop having birthdays across America, there would be somebody walking around the streets right now.
Right.
Somebody's cousin, somebody would have children and a whole family that wouldn't have died if they just didn't go to that birthday party. Some girl would have not got raped or molested, all of that. They didn't go to a birthday party. So where's the real satanic celebration or sacrifice at? You know what I mean? Go ahead. Let's see. Let's go to keep going.
Verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God.
Right.
For these nations which thou shalt possess hearken unto observers. Hearken unto observers. Hearken unto observers of time.
Oh, okay, yeah. Times and keep going. We're gonna go to verse 12.
Can I come?
Just call it the verse where you at?
13.
All right.
It's like verse 14.
Oh, we went past it already.
Come, we were at 13.
We went from 9 to
finished
12. So like, keep going then.
Come.
Around 18. Let me see. Blah, blah, blah.
For these nations which thou shalt possess hearken unto observers of times and unto diviners. But as for thee, the Lord thy God hath not suffered thee to do so.
Right. So even with that, like these other nations, I think was reading the Satanic Bible was talking about how they look at the astrology and all that stuff. That's where you get all this. You're a Cancer, you're a Leo, you're this, you're that. These other nations are always observing the times, observing the stars, telling you this is who you are supposed to be. And people fall into this trap of they really believe this zodiac nonsense. But if you're telling somebody since a young age, this is how you are, this is how you're supposed to be, and then you start to believe it, you start acting like what they're telling you you're supposed to be like, and then people start thinking that this is real. But you've been boxed into a category since you were 5 years old. People telling you, oh, what's your birthday? Oh, you're supposed to be like this. And then you end up being like this, and they're like, yes, I told you.
Right.
This is a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's all that stuff is. And one of the things I love to do, I used to do, even in the world, people ask me, I just tell them a different sign. You know what I'm saying? I say I'm this. And people, oh, you like that? Okay. And they just go off your whole character off of that just because you said this one thing. And it's a complete lie. You know what I mean? But that's... You heard of this before? Have you seen this before? But yeah, that's a nonsense. Actually, there's a thing on Netflix that exposes the whole concept that, like in 1920, somewhere in the past 100 years in the 1900s, somebody went and really made up this astrology stuff, and it's not even based on the stars that we're looking at, because from 1,000 years ago we've moved. We're not in the same spot.
Right.
So they're giving you're this sign, but really you're not this sign. So then the whole foundation of it is off. And they said a lot of the things was just telling you common things that everyone will agree with, and then they're just catering it to you.
Right.
So they just say, okay, what's your sign? You're a Sagittarius. Well, you love family. Who doesn't love family? Like, you can say that to a Leo, you're a family person. You love family. Like, okay, all right. You want to have a lot of nice things. Okay, everybody, you know what I mean? So that's how they do that. They just break it up and keep people in these little boxes. But long story short, those people are evil, and this is why the Lord, you're trying to go around the Lord again. You're making these people a God. Come talk to this psychic, tell me what's going to happen, instead of just putting your faith in the Lord. All right, give me Deuteronomy 4:19. Go ahead, when you got it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 19.
Right.
And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the hosts of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven.
Right. Like, we've always found ways to uplift and worship other things than the Lord. It also says that we worship the clay more than the creator. Give me Romans 1:25, somewhere in there, I think. Let me get that precept on back down, written down to that. I think that's about where it's at. Romans 1, that's in the first chapter. 25 is going to talk about
God.
Yep. Is that it? Let's see. Nope. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's it right there. Yep. I had it right.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
Who changed the truth of God into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen.
Like, it's just backwards. You put all this energy into going and saying, this person is so great, this person is so honorable, let's lift them up. Literally, there was a show back in the days called Sweet 16, which is probably where that thing was happening with this girl with this Tesla. Her family's trying to keep up with everybody on MTV, and they're giving their 16-year-old daughter a Tesla, which is a great gift, I would love to have a free Tesla right now. You know, she's talking about I'd rather walk than get the Tesla.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's not what she wanted. And you have to bow down and come to her altar and give her what she wanted. And so if you don't do it, then you are evil and you are wrong. And so certain birthdays, they were spending $500,000 on these 16-year-old birthday, $1 million on this 16-year-old birthday. And there are people running around with no food in their refrigerator, people starving, people in different countries that don't have nothing to eat.
Right.
That's an evil way to live and exist. You know what I'm saying? It's a very selfish thing. And Commanding General Hanna always says something, you know, coming up in the truth, like he'll never ride first class on a plane. He said, how could I be on first class when my people is living like this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I be? He's not gonna pull up in no Bentley. You know what I'm saying? We out in some place, you're not gonna see Commanding General Hanna come up. He could get one, maybe one or two. That's not what he's about to do.
Right.
He's gonna ride something regular. He's gonna come through what he needs to, but his goal is to help his people. Now, people that are evil is completely the other way. You know, they'll be like, nigga, them niggas ain't why would I got this money myself. I ain't gonna give it to them. I ain't gonna help them out. Forget them, F them. They have to convince themselves that it's right for them to be so selfish. And one of the most foundational, two foundations, and it's interesting that, you know what I mean? Like, we look at it like, yeah, Christmas, we always talk about Christmas, but the top one really is birthdays. That's the first foundation of really corrupting somebody's spirit, to not care about other people. Because you sitting here going around this 5-year-old like they've done something. What did you do even to be born?
Right.
Your parents had sex. Whoop-de-doo. Why are you important? You know what I mean? Why do you get a whole day? Well, it's really something more sinister in it. It's something more sinister in celebrating Christmas. It's making you selfish and think that you deserve gifts and that love is a gift. And if you either get presents, you're loved. If you don't, you hate it.
Right.
If you're a good kid, Santa gonna bring you something. If you're a bad kid, you don't get nothing. Well, how come all of the white kids get all of the gifts?
Right.
Because they're the good kids. How come the black kids don't have nothing on Christmas? Because you're the bad kids. Poverty is evil, and wealth is righteous. That's what you're telling people. That's the hidden message. The bigger your birthday party is, the more greater person you are, apparently.
Right.
Your parents should have been able to give you the Mercedes you wanted, not this effing Tesla. You guys are evil. You hate me. Mom, Dad, you hate me. How did she say it? She said something, and I'm like, man, my grandma would have slapped her in her mouth. She said something that was out of pocket. Let me play that part again. But drop that. Where we at? Let's see. Oh, yeah, Romans 1:25. So, yeah, we start worshiping the creature more than the creator. You're putting more emphasis on this person, his value, than you are focusing on the Lord. And if you love the Lord, then you would do what? Somebody go, my mind. Let me see. You being selfish on your birthday, you focusing on yourself. But if you're not, and you really love God,
So like I said, would you be focusing on your brothers and sisters?
exactly. What's the precept? I'm gonna have to give you the hand, but I'm bring it all the way together.
So like, is it all the law falls on these two things?
There you go. Finish it up.
Oh, it's like to love your neighbor as also like to love the Lord with all your heart and all your soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself.
Right. So if you love the Lord, and it's another precept too, we'll bring that one. You love the Lord, you're gonna love your brother, you're gonna love your neighbor, you're gonna take care of your people. That's what Commanding General is saying. He's like, okay, I love my people. So when I get something, I'm thinking about how I can help other people.
Right.
When you get stuff, you want it to be for yourself. That's a completely different way. And that's how, people become. All right. I'm gonna play this one more time and then
Hi. This is your car, girl.
and they thought they were doing something good for her. That's why a lot of parents and moms, especially, they'll say, "Nah, it's for the kids. This is why we celebrate Christmas. This is why we're doing a birthday. It's for the kids. She's not gonna have a birthday. Like, could you imagine that mom fighting her husband if she married a UPK brother. And he's like, nah, we're not buying her no Tesla. And we're not celebrating her birthday. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She was like, how you gonna do that to her? That's evil. But who is really being evil? The one that's getting the Tesla and building her head up and putting her up on high is really destroying her. Is making the most evil part of her character come out because she has been raised up to something that she doesn't deserve.
Right.
She's been given too much power that's not even deserving of what, you know what I mean? So this is how she becomes.
Wait, what?
I don't like Tesla.
You said you like the electric
I
cars.
said I like Tesla. I said a Mercedes Benz. I don't like.
Yeah, that's when she would have got slapped on my grandma. I said, as soon as you start talking with that tone, I told you, she basically want to, she's going to be cursing her out in her mind later on. If she don't do it, you know, these kids, they might be calling her mama a B word to her face. You never know. But, okay, let's go to the next precept. Let's go to 1 John 3:18. Boom, 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 boom. Mm-hmm.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 18. Verse 18. My little children, let us not love in word,
Right.
neither in tongue,
Mm-hmm.
but in deed and in truth.
Right. That's how we are supposed to be, not just in word, but in deed and in action. That's how you're supposed to rock. Keep going. Let's go to Jeremiah 10:2. We're just gonna bounce around. So I'm gonna get these precepts out.
This is also 10:2.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen,
Right.
and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
Right. They are caught up in this astrology and your birth, the same thing over and over again. Learn not the way of the heathen. Well, in the Satanic Bible, it tells you the way of the heathen. They're telling you. That's why I always say, I keep saying, talking about this. I got to write this down. I'm really going to work on this class next week. But when Kanye West said that in that song, I don't know the spirit behind what he was saying, but I learned from him when he said that. He was like, something you can learn about God, but you can learn a lot from Satan. Like, if you learn, to me, right, for how I took it, because when I first heard it, I was like, this nigga is tripping. He didn't sold his soul. He's in the Illuminati, because he was making a whole bunch of weird songs at that time period. But then at another point, I was looking like, man, what if he meant this? And even if he didn't, that's how I'm taking it. Like, you can learn from Satanists what's wrong. Like, if you study what they teach, you'll see why what we teach is so right. Because you just get the vibe and the spirit of them. We naturally have the spirit when we see these people and how they act. It's like you don't want to be around these people. They have a bad vibe. Right. Just naturally, that's just blacks and Hispanics. You have to be really destroyed to go that way. Like, you know what I'm saying? The average black person, I might smoke my weed, I might sell my dope. But when you start talking about you love Satan, that's where we draw the line. Like 666 all over the place. Like, we don't accept blatant, open satanic worship. White people love that shit. That's their culture. They go to rock concerts, everything. They burn the Bible. They hang the cross upside down. They love going against this book. We may do it just living regular. We just feel like we living like just niggas. We live in heathen lifestyle, but we don't. Most of us don't. It doesn't sit well when people do that type of stuff. So, like, if you sit there and see what they teach, and you see why is this person sitting here, Marilyn Manson with black eyeliner, looking like an evil, you know what I'm saying, weirdo, is because he's really following Satan to the T. And then it's like, once you learn what they believe and why is it so opposite of what we believe, you'll start to see, okay, yeah, this is why I don't do this. This now makes sense. Like, if you didn't get it from all the stuff that we said, go look at them, listen to them, what they teach, what they're talking about, and you'll be like, damn, okay, yeah. That's the reason why we stay away from this stuff. Right. You know what I mean? Because it all makes sense. It all adds up. So we're not supposed to learn the way of the heathen. And it's no coincidence. This is another one of the things that they promote in their society. This is another one of the things the Bible is against. It's because it all is not, it's subtle, but it's very big. So it'll go over your head. You be thinking it's just, nah, it's not nothing. You grow up around it so much, it feels normal. Thanksgiving is normal. Christmas is normal. Birthdays are normal. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. But that's how Satan works. He makes you do stuff that you don't really see. You're just a pawn in his chess game, in his chessboard. And he's just moving you around. You just going with the flow. Everybody does it. You going with the crowd, not realizing you are a part of a bigger scheme and something more than that. All right. Let's go to Genesis 40 and 20. I think I'm doing pretty good by rolling through precepts tonight.
Another one coming.
Oh, what did Kabah say? We're not celebrating, we're just coming together, acknowledging another year. Shaking my damn head. Yeah. Why is it that when cats get wealthy, they gain knowledge of the world and they are spokesmen for the people? Why is it that when cats get wealthy and knowledge? Because we worship money in America. We worship power and material wealth. So if somebody has money, then that means they're right. Because you're poor, you want to get out of poverty. So someone that has something that you don't have, you think that they're right. And so it's like they may be right about how to do real estate. LeBron James is right. He can teach you how to play basketball, but you put that on everything just because he has this money. So anything he says is right now all of a sudden. If he says stop Asian hate, and you're like, yeah, LeBron, I work at McDonald's. I ain't got nothing. LeBron says stop Asian hate. He must know what he's talking about. He's a millionaire. Tyler Perry, he wear a dress. I work at Popeyes. He must be right. You see what I'm saying? Like they justify. That's another big thing I started hearing a lot in the last like 10, 15 years is if you criticize anyone that's doing something wrong, then people always say, at least he getting money, he getting paid. You just hating on him because he got money. Young Thug was wearing dresses on his album cover. The OGs was like, this is wrong. He's a man. He shouldn't be wearing a dress. Oh, that nigga getting bread, though. This shit, broke people got something to say about him. You shouldn't say nothing about him. Like, you can't criticize no one's behavior because you're impoverished. That's what makes you valid now. Right and wrong is who got money. Right. That's why we listen to celebrities. You know what I mean? They become spokesmen for our people because we have such a low self-esteem. We put our self-esteem on money. And one last example before I'll take your comment or question. Like somebody in jail, if you don't have anything, everything's taken away from you, you start putting pride in the smallest things. So like if someone gave you a brand new pair of Adidas in the world, or you just have a regular life, somebody steps on your shoes, it's like, all right, hey, excuse me, bro, I'm gonna clean these shoes or I'm gonna get some new ones. If you're in prison and you don't have a home, you don't have your family, you don't have money, all you have is this Adidas, and then somebody steps on it, you'll be willing to kill this nigga over those Adidas. You know what I'm saying? That's black people in the big scheme. Like we put more value on things that other people don't. That's why we get these chains. You spending $100,000 on a chain, and a rich white person is like, that's so ignorant. Why would you do that? But they don't know what it's like to have nothing. And so your values have been skewed to value something that you can show. Right. Edomite's like, look at this business I bought in Bangladesh. Look at my portfolio. I just invested in Tesla. They're happy about that. You got to have a chain to show that you have value. But his portfolio is a little piece of paper. Is worth 100 times your chain. But you feel more valuable because you can show everybody in the hood that you are somebody now. And you have to show them because you felt like you were nothing before you had it. You see what I'm saying? Right. So that's why we listen to celebrities, man, because they're the ones that can show us they have shit. Have stuff, and they're the ones we should listen to. They must be God. They're closer to God. They're on the mountain. They live in it. They're higher up. That's what we should listen to. Go ahead.
That's what I was going to ask. And to combat that in the Bible, you can just go to verses relating to respect of persons.
Like I said, those ones, it's not always, it's possible you could use it, but more so, it's a very clear cut one. I'll give you the precept for that one. Go give me the Genesis one I got, and I'll find it for you real quick.
This is the book of Genesis,
Mhm.
chapter 40, verse 20. And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday.
Which was what?
Pharaoh's birthday.
Right. So birthdays are in the Bible. No one's saying it was not in the Bible. Birthdays are in the Bible, but for some reason, I can't figure it out. Every time it's in the Bible, someone dies, someone gets hurt, someone gets killed, and it's always these heathens or people that are trying to be like heathens that are doing this. So a few examples you'll hear of a birthday, we'll see what happens. Go ahead.
That he made a feast unto his that he made a feast unto all his servants,
Right.
and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants.
Right.
And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again.
Right. So the backstory of this was, who was it? Joseph was sold into slavery, and he was somebody that was able to tell dreams. And they were in jail, and these two people that got thrown into jail for whatever reason, they came to Joseph and they asked him, "Can you tell me what this means or what's going to happen or whatever?" And I believe Joseph told him, he said, "One of you is going to be raised up, and one of you is going to not go through some good things." I might be saying it all wrong, but then this actually happened. You know what I mean? And this is what happened. So the Pharaoh, they found out, whoever did the thing that got them thrown into jail, they found out the reason why. And so on his birthday, he's having this big celebration. He's calling one of them out of the jail, and he's saying he raised him back up. And then the other one, he did what?
He hanged the chief baker,
Damn.
as Joseph had interpreted to them.
Right. So he killed this person on his birthday. Like, that's what he wanted to celebrate. That's like, it just makes me feel like the spirit, like the Italians. It just gives me that vibe. Like Italians, they just move like that, where they just so righteous, quote unquote, and evil at the same time. Like, you ever watch the mafia movies and Italian movies, the Don is like such a great person. Like Don, whatever his name, from Don Corleone or whatever, from the Godfather movie, they're all on the birthday celebration, and he gives gifts, and he opens up his house, and he takes care of people, and he feeds them and gives them money, and then he kills a whole bunch of other people to get that money and power to help other people.
Right.
It's like, that's how the Pharaoh is. It's like, you know what, it's my birthday, I'm feeling good about myself. You know what, that nigga that I hated, matter of fact, come over here, man, buy him some clothes, get him some Gucci, put some Gucci flip flops on him. Yo, go get you a massage. Go ahead and get you some drink, get you some women, get you all the drink you want to drink, all the food you want to drink, get as high as you want to get. My bad, I know we had our problems, but you know what else I need to do to celebrate my birthday? You know what? That bitch that nigga I don't like, nigga, bring him in here and sit his coat in front of me. That's gonna make me feel happy today. That's gonna make my day today, is to kill a punk nigga, whatever. I'm horrible with money. I'm gonna get this whole thing shut down. You know what I'm saying? But that's what's gonna make me happy today. That's how the Italians move too. It's like they do some good things over here, and then they do some evil things over there, and they don't see any difference of it. They just feel like completely the same about it. Matter of fact, this one actually makes me feel even more and better. So read again from the first part.
Verse 20. And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday,
Right.
that he made a feast unto all his servants.
Right.
And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants.
Right.
And 21. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again.
Right.
And he gave the cup unto Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker,
Him.
as Joseph had interpreted to them.
Right. That was his birthday celebration. All right. Now let's go to Matthew chapter 14, verse 6. And then the precept I wanted that I was going to tell you about as far as the rich man, is in Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 23. For time's sake, I'm gonna go ahead. It's 8:42. I'm gonna go ahead and just read this one for you. Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he said. They extol it to the clouds. When a rich person come out and say something, everybody listens. They shut up. They hear what they got to say. They put it up to the clouds. They make it holy. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. Like, why are we going to listen to these? They used to say that all the time when we go to camp. We'd be on there blazing, speaking about what's going on in the world. They'd be like, y'all need to get a job. Y'all ain't got no jobs. Y'all some felons. They just, like, for some reason, because we out here teaching the Bible aggressively, none of us have jobs. You know what I'm saying? That's just, it can't be. There's no way. They don't think that you can, what do they call that? Compartmentalize. You can't come out here and say the white man's the devil and then go work on Tuesday. For some reason, you just got to be doing that on the job. They need you to do that too. The boss gonna say, hey, Jamal, I need you to come in. You gonna be, you goddamn devil. They think we doing that at the slavery. Like, nah, that's not what we doing, man. But they just think all of us, don't work. So they're like, how can you tell me anything? You broke. But if a rich man talk, everybody shut up, everybody listens. They're gonna hear what they have to say, no matter what it is,
Right.
no matter how evil it is or how dumb it is. Even, rich people say dumb things all the time. But that's a good one for that. There's a couple more on that, but that one's obviously, a little bit closer to that. Mainly when we use the respective persons. I won't even. We'll go to that another time. Yep. Where we at?
14, Matthew 14:6.
Yep. Go ahead.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 14, verse 6.
Mm-hmm. This is. I love this one too. I ain't gonna lie, because it shows you. Go ahead.
But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod.
Right. So, do we know who King Herod is? You remember? Okay.
Was he the king that ordered to kill all the babies in Jerusalem or in Judah?
Right.
Because it was prophesied of Christ.
Right. And so I believe that was Herod the first. I think this is Herod's son, but it's the same thing. So long story short, when we do the Feast of Dedication, we have Hanukkah and all the candles that we have. That was because we went to war with the Greeks that tried to take over our country. After we got them out of there, there was a certain family of people that were known from the Judas Maccabee, right? All of his children became in charge. They went out and forced certain Edomites to follow our Bible.
Right.
And they converted these Edomites to be following like their Israelites. And one of them was King Herod. His grandfather was an Edomite that was acting like an Israelite. And I believe, don't quote 100%, but I believe like Herod's mother might have been like an Israelite. So he was like half Israelite, not quote unquote half, because we don't teach, obviously we don't believe that. But from our perspective, it's like Barack Obama to me. I'll just say like that. Barack Obama's father was an African, his mother was an Edomite. None of him was Israelite, but he really grew up with the Edomites. You know what I mean? He didn't even know his father that was a Hamite.
Right.
His whole spirit and culture was them. But on the outside, he looked like a light-skinned Judite.
Right.
So we supported him and we got behind him. That's kind of how King Herod was. His father was an Edomite. Let's say his mother was an Israelite. He looked like a lighter-skinned brother, and they put him in charge over the nation. But really, this is a white man.
Right.
And so King Herod was not supposed to be the king over Israel, because the king had to come from the line of David. And so when Christ was born, he tried to kill Christ because they said there was a king that was born. And it's like, if he's the king, then I'm not the king. He's going to take my spot. My whole family's not going to be in line. So that's why the Herods and the line of Herods always had a beef with Christ and had a beef with us. So this son of Herod, he is celebrating his birthday. Like in the movies, they'll show you different times. You watch the Passion of Christ or any different Edomite movie they make about Jesus, it'll be show some weird dude wearing like makeup and partying, looks effeminate, and just drinking and drunk and just in the room. That's how Herod was. He was this person living rich. Everybody else that's black is living poor. He's in his big house, getting drunk all day, living the life of a rich person, eating grapes, and he's having this big extravagant party on his birthday. And this is what happened on that day. So read one more time.
The book of Matthew, chapter 14, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod.
Right.
Verse 7. Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask.
Right.
8. And she, being before instructed of her mother, said, give me here John Baptist's head in a charger.
Right, put his head on a plate. So once again, he feeling himself, he like the world is mine. I can do whatever I want. He tell her, you tell me what you want. I'll give you whatever you want too. It's my birthday, but I'm sharing the love. She like, yeah, give me John the Baptist's head. Like, he wouldn't even be in this spirit if he wasn't celebrating his birthday. You know what I'm saying? The man that in the Bible that's a quote unquote supposed to be the leader of the Israelites, which we all know is a heathen now. But the one person that was doing this was the same people that tried to kill Christ, the same people that killed John the Baptist, the same people that he killed his brother and married his brother's wife. That's what King Herod did. And that's why he hated John the Baptist, because he was teaching against that. I think he talks about that at another time. But yeah, that's why in verse 3 it says it. So in verse 2, I'll just read it real quick for John's sake. And said unto his servants, this is John the Baptist, he is risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him. Verse 3, for Herod had laid hold on John and bound him and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. So for John said unto him, it is not lawful for thee to have her. So I don't know if he killed his brother or not. Can't remember that part, but he was basically, he liked his brother's wife, he took her and then made her the queen, quote unquote, or the leader, you know what I mean, the top woman. And so that's why her daughter, all this is weird stuff going on. Long story short, we see a weirdo celebrate his birthday, somebody end up killed. The other birthday, somebody end up killed. This birthday, somebody ends up killed. What happens today when you go to the hood on somebody's birthday? Somebody ends up getting killed. Something about this spirit is always happening. I wonder why. All right. Let's go to Matthew 7:14. What is it? 8:50. All right, we're gonna cut it short. Let's see. I'm just gonna give you these.
7:14.
Yep.
The book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 14. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
Right. So the Bible also in verse 13 says, enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Like, it's a wide way. I talked about that before. It's a wide way. You can do anything in the world and no one's mad at you. You can be this, you can be that. You can do this, you can do that. It's freedom. But narrow is the straight gate. Like, all this following the Lord is what you don't do. Following Satan is do whatever you want to do.
Right.
There is no rules. You do whatever you want. It's freedom. Following the Lord, following Christ is a very narrow gate. It's a very simple and strict life. that you can't. So many things that you can't do to get into this gate to follow the Lord. And that's why the Christian church is they wide open. They let you do whatever you want to, and that's why so many people follow them. It's very easy to become a Christian. It's very easy. You don't have to change. You don't have to do anything. And so, as for everybody, there is a wide gate. You can come here and be a flaming homosexual. You can come here and be a prostitute. You can come here and be a drug dealer. You can come here and be a murderer. You can do all of that and be in the Christian church and feel good about yourself. So that's a very wide gate.
Right.
This narrow gate where we start saying, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Stop doing this, quit doing that. It makes people, the demon that's on them wants to fight you because they don't want to change. They don't want that person to change. And so that's why they can't come into the truth, because they have to keep the demon that's on them. And so they're like, nah, I'm not going to stop doing this. I'm not going to stop doing that. I'm not going to stop doing this. I'm going to keep doing what I want to do because I'm God and I know what's right. This makes me feel good. That doesn't make me feel good. It's got to be wrong.
Right.
If it don't make me feel good, then it's got to be wrong. And that's what, who said something? That was the other day too. Like, God, I think that was Jeremiah Hyman said that in class. He was like, with Russell Wilson, he was like, God told me to raise Sierra's baby.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Raise little Future. And God told me to do that. He was like, how come God don't ever tell you to do something you don't like to do?
Right.
God only tells Christians to do things. God told me I should go and buy this house. God told me I should go and get this thing. God led me to believe. Everything that makes you feel good. God will never tell you to give up something and stop doing something. What?
Salakia, sir, I actually had a question on that. In that class, you mentioned the verse that was similar to, I paraphrased what he said, but it was when you rebuke yourself, or when the person that rebukes Satan is actually rebuking themselves. I don't believe he mentioned where that was in the word.
He said it one more time.
Where it was a verse where he paraphrased that when a person rebukes Satan, they're actually rebuking themselves.
I don't remember that one. That's a good one. I want to find that one. My damn self. I cannot think of that off of head. Like, I might have to watch it again. I probably would know it if he said it. Is it anything else you remember? He said when somebody rejects themselves
or rebuke Satan, they're actually rebuking themselves.
In the context of it was, what was the topic?
It was close to after the subject of Russell Wilson when he was talking about it, and he was saying like how Christians, they'll be like they won't rebuke something that they're supposed to do,
right?
But when they're doing something like they're doing something that they aren't supposed to do.
Familiar. I can't think of the precept, but like basically saying like eating pork, they won't stop eating pork because they like it, but no one's fighting you saying, "Oh, I should eat bat or cats or rats or something."
It was more so of the idea where you say, "Oh." Like a Christian in the church will be like, "Oh, Satan is out here making all these bad things happen," but in reality, it's you doing it. It's you.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that part again. I might have missed it. Well, yeah, Salaki, I don't got that answer.
Okay.
No sweat. Where we at?
We are Matthew 7 and 15.
All right. Okay, I think we did. We're good on that one. Boom. Let's go to Tardis, something we get in Temple. Kingsburg. Yeah, give me 2 Maccabees 6 and 1 and 7.
2 Maccabees 6.
Yep. And 1 through 7. This is another good one. And that's another good one. We're gonna end it on Ecclesiastes 7 and 1. Just close it out on that. So we got 854.
This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 1. Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers.
Right.
And not to live after the laws of God.
Right. So this is when we got conquered, like I was saying, in the Maccabees. King Antiochus came in. He put all these rules in telling us to not follow the laws of our God. Don't obey the Bible. Don't listen to what Moses taught us. That is becoming illegal in our country and our nation now. To follow God became illegal underneath this king. Keep going.
Con. 2. And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter,
Right.
Olympius.
Right. So instead of us having our temple to our God, they changed it and they put a different thing on it. Like we come out here and this is our school, the UPK. They know this is where we teach the truth at. They know this is where we have our high holy days. You come in here next time, it's gonna be a big Christian cross and a white Jesus in front of this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's blatantly disrespectful. Like they're gonna have a big old, you know how they had those whole pigs? They're gonna put that on this table. Knowing when we run this school, we never had pork in here.
Right.
We never had a white Jesus on our, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna plaster it up there. That's what they did to us. They knew we hated these things, so they did it on purpose in our temple. They profaned our temple. Go ahead.
Con. And that in Gerizim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. 3. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places.
Man, you come up in here, it's a stripper pole in here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You come up in here, and niggas over here snorting coke and rolling blunts in the same building that we do this every, you know what I'm saying, weekend. They over there twerking in the back. You go open the door behind this, you think it's waters in the refrigerator. It's they having sex back there. That's what they were doing in our temple. And this is a small, modest room. You know what I'm saying? Our temple was a big, we put a lot of energy, we put a lot of effort into making the temple of the Lord. They in there turning it into an orgy. They're having orgies inside of there. This is what these white folks were doing. And some of our people was doing with them, joining in with them. Go ahead.
And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful.
Mm-hmm.
The altar was also filled with profane things,
Right.
which the law forbiddeth.
Like they don't like shrimp, bring some extra shrimp. Bring the big ones. Bring the lobster. Bring everything that they don't like in this building. Put all of that out on the table. What?
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts.
Right. They made it illegal for us to keep the Sabbath. They made it illegal for us to keep the high holy days. We couldn't have Passover. We couldn't have the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We couldn't have, any of these things that we do. The Feast of First Fruits, that was illegal. You catch us trying to follow this, they're going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Right. They made it illegal for us to call ourselves Israelites at all. You got to say you're a Greek now. You got to pledge your allegiance to America, to this country, to this nation. You cannot say you're Israelite anymore. Keep going.
Verse 7. And in the day of the king's birth.
And in what?
The day of the king's birth.
Keep going.
Every month.
Every month.
They were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus, carrying ivy.
Yeah.
Moreover.
Right, hold on. So basically, not only did this king, he obviously was celebrating his birthday because he made it such a big day. He said every day of every month, I need y'all to come up here and eat this pork, eat this swine, eat this shrimp, do something profane, do something unlawful to show honor to me. Every month on the day of my birth, you're going to have to hold this down and do this evil stuff. So and then when it talks about Bacchus and the ivy, they had to bring ivy to this certain god. That's where you get Ivy League. I know Jim Hyman talked about it before. I got to look into it more to better explain it. But it's all these ancient Greek cultures and gods. It's all over the place in America to this day. They show you in everything that we do, from the Nikes that people wear. That was a Greek god. We were in downtown San Francisco. We were in the park, and I see all these statues up here. I'm like, I bet you that's a Greek god. We Googled it. Yep. It turned out it was Nike. It was a Greek god. It's all over the place. Starbucks, the image on that has something to do with some Greek gods. they're always putting it in the culture here, and that's because, like I said, the Ivy League has ties back to doing that Bacchus thing. So much stuff that we have in America that comes from the Greeks and Romans, where we don't even notice it, or it just becomes a part of our life. Like we just think it's normal, but in reality, all that stuff goes back to them. So once again, that point that I did want to prove right there was this king was big on his birthday and big on getting us to do evil things on his birthday. So much so he did it every day of the year, and that's how birthdays have become. Like when I was a kid, it was your birthday. Now grown people, it's your birth. It went to birth weekend. You heard about that? And then it became like your birth month now.
Right.
And that's where you think this cover. This dude was birth year, apparently every month of the year. Like that, I don't even want to give people the idea. Right. So you gonna mess around and people get to reading that. And they're like, that's a good idea. Next month, it's my birthday. Month, day. I don't know what to call it. Like, right. This is gonna make a reason to celebrate, go out and do some crazy stuff and have people, worship you. But that he took it to the next level. He had them celebrate his birthday all goddamn year and doing evil the whole year, specifically on that day, because that's how prideful and evil he was. Let me get Ecclesiastes 7:1. This will be the last precept. I think I had a couple more, but we're not gonna go to them. But yeah, it's very interesting, man, that he had them doing that. Anything else? Something I was thinking of, man. I remember this clip of Jada Pinkett. She was talking about Will Smith was supposed to buy her some, had a big 40th birthday party for her, but she
Come.
Whatever you got.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Good name is better than precious ointment.
Right. A good name is better than precious ointment, right?
And the day of death than the day of one's birth.
Right. The day that you die is better than your day of your birth. Not the birthday is not this great glorious thing. Why is the day of someone's death more important than the day they were born? Sounds like a horrible thing to say. Sounds pretty evil to say. And that's how the Bible works. Like I said, when you say something that's truthful to people that are evil, it sounds pretty evil. Even if you don't understand, it might sound kind of evil. But to them, you tell me somebody's birthday, it sounds so great, so glorious. It sounds so nice and sweet. But that's really the real evil thing. And what being said right here is really the righteous thing. Right. Go ahead. You want to read it again? Read it again.
Okay. A good name is better than precious ointment.
Right.
And the day of death than the day of one's birth. Mm-hmm. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting.
Damn.
For that is the end of all men. Damn. And the living will lay it to his heart.
Damn. Yeah, hold it right there. It's heavy. Now, what do you think?
Oh, so sir. Is it saying that because, like, the day of someone's death, we can actually honor the remembrance of the things that they'd actually done?
Yeah, right. That's it right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, once again, you didn't do anything to be born. You're just a byproduct of a bottle of Hennessy. Not y'all, I'm just saying. That's what you are. You know what I mean? They used to always say, oh, this old song from the Earth, Wind, and Fire, that's what you was made to, son. This song came on, Jodeci. Right. That's why you got here. So what is so glorious about that? What is to be celebrated about that? But you were a righteous man. You were a righteous woman. You did this. You helped this person. You did that. Now we have something to say good about who you were in the day of your death. That's something that should be honored and celebrated. That's something that is worthy of, paying attention to. But all this other stuff, you just want to have because you hear, what's the gift? Me. Yes, I'll be. Hey, Paul, yeah, I'm me. You know what I'm saying? Come thank me about me being me. Not because what I did for you, but what you should do for me. Nah, that's not the way things should be, man. And that's why what the old song is, my birthday, and I cry, I want you. It's just that whole spirit is the same way that little girl was acting. But let me see this. I don't know what they did to Will Smith, but I'm playing it on the wrong thing. I'm gonna play this last thing. If you have something to say?
That's all, sir. I was just gonna say it's completely backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's pretty simple to see.
Mm-hmm. That's how Satan works. He wanna turn things upside
God
down.
is secret.
Everything the way it's supposed to be, turn it upside down.
Old footage of Jada Pinkett Smith revealing that her feather was speaking in an episode.
This ain't. Damn.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Question of the day is
Let me see.
The day after her 37th birthday, I hired a team to orchestrate her 40th birthday. I hired a documentary team. I traced Mommy's family roots. Her 40th birthday was going to be my thing.
It's gonna be a splash.
It was going to be a splash. Mary J. Blige performed. I debuted the film, all of that. It was going to be the thing that lifted her out of this midlife crisis, and it was going to be my deepest, most beautiful proclamation of love. And she's told me that the party was the most ridiculous display of my ego.
Ooh.
Crushed, right? And to this day, I know I was crushed because it was.
Because it was true, whatever. I don't know what the hell she got going on. I don't know what she got going on, but this nigga said he planned for 3 years her birthday with all this stuff, and she like, nigga, this is not what I like. She said, this is ridiculous. It just killed his whole spirit off. I don't even know. Yeah, she could have been right in a way, but it's just still like something about she felt so powerful. Like she could have just kept that shit to herself if she really felt like that. Like she's just trying to destroy this man. That next thing you know, you at the Oscars slapping random people for making jokes. You know what I'm saying? He's this brother. His mind is so destroyed, even through so many emotions. In his mind, he think I'm doing something great for her. She like really like a pimp. Like that's really the relationship they have. Like it's like a woman like, yeah, Daddy, look, I just made $1,000 a night. I'm so happy. Here you go. He like, bitch, get the fuck out of here. It's fucking thunk ass $1,000. Like psychologically, that shit just destroys somebody. You know what I mean? To experience something like that, you feel like you're doing something good, something nice, and you could just literally crush someone's spirit from going out of their way to do that. And it's like the only way she could feel like that is because she feels like a guy. Right. And I guarantee you, out there, Pinkett Smith, how does she feel about herself? I'm a guy. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what you do. She's gonna, she destroyed that brother, man. But that was a perfect example. He probably spent millions of dollars on that shit, on that stuff, man. I really gotta work on my language. Do not follow what I'm doing. Brother laughing. He said Oscar slapping random people. Mm-hmm. What?
No, I'm not gonna say no more.
Please, Bible shot. I'm not. With Tuwap?
Yeah.
All right, we'll figure that out later. No sweat. All right, that's it. Right now, we need to get really back on it since we're over the time though. But something we learned, traditions, we used to always say the Lord's Prayer at the end of class. I'm gonna start bringing just ending class a little bit earlier. But in Texas, they still do that. At the end of every class, we used to always say the Lord's Prayer. We gotta bring that back. But for right now, I'm just gonna close out real quick. Just salute everybody online. Salute everybody in class. All right. Y'all Shem Yahshua with a thumb to all the brothers. I was Shem Yahshua to all the sisters. All right. Class is this.
So, is the Lord's Prayer done in English?
We do it in Hebrew.